like. And I don't think it looks like a statewide sales tax. Fund schools, fund cities, fund counties locally. Don't create some 14% tax that goes to Austin, and God forbid Austin has to dilly it up. Remember the founders, they thought people would vote with their feet. You talked about that a little bit on the education issue. If you don't like the rules in Dallas, you move to Lubbock, and if you don't like Lubbock, you move to Midland, and you move to where you like the rules. Let local entities take care of themselves. We don't like one-size-fits-all Washington any better than Lubbock probably likes one-size-fits-all Austin. But everybody that goes to Austin wants to build a one-size-fits-all everything. Our Constitution says, in order that our children would understand liberty, the state of Texas will provide a free public education for the general dissemination of knowledge. I say we've got independent school districts, and I ask independent of what? See, the state's job, according to our Constitution, is to provide for a general dissemination of knowledge. Can we define that as a state and pay for that and let parents and communities and school boards take care of whatever else they want to do beyond a general dissemination of knowledge? Some of us that are business majors would recognize that monopolies consume a lot of resources and produce poor products and services. That a competitive market, competition, gives you the best products and services available to the most people for the least amount of money. The Texas public education system is doing exactly what it was designed to do. You leave it a monopoly and it's going to consume every resource you can throw at it, and it is going to continue to produce poor products and services. It's cheating our children. It's not just about higher salaries for teachers and a good retirement plan. It ought to be first about educating our kids. And we're stealing that from our kids because we refuse to tear down the sacred walls of monopoly and not just allow competition, but force competition into that system. When we have the courage to do that, we'll see our kids dreaming. I had a conversation with a man named Gabriel Bruzon some months ago in Austin. Mr. Bruzon is the editor of El Mundo newspaper. It is a Spanish language paper in Austin, Texas, and I grew up in South Texas, lots of Garcias, Gonzalez, Pettis, Medinas, no Bruzons, and I was curious about the origin of his name. He said he was from Cuba. Then I got really curious. I wanted to know how he had gotten out of Cuba. He is a Christian missionary to Ecuador, and from Ecuador he immigrated here to the United States. And I have often thought that when the isms, socialism, communism, fascism, Marxism, come to America, we'll think that they'll come with purple spots and we'll know them like we would know a leper. And here sits this man that looks like any other guy walking down the street in Austin. Well, most other guys walking down the street in Austin, some of them kind of strange, but you know what I mean. And I said to him, if I had taken a picture of you 3 years ago standing on the street in communist dictatorship Cuba, and I took a picture of you today standing on the street in Constitutional Republic, Austin, Texas, what's the difference between the man in Cuba and the man in Austin? And he said the man in Cuba had no dreams. Everything was free. Healthcare was free. Education was free, but we had no dreams. I couldn't plan where I would work or where I would live or where I would travel. We had no dreams. When we get leadership back in place that understands the difference between freedom and those policies that destroy it, and we start to restore that, restore true private property ownership in Texas, because where there's freedom, there's prosperity. We've got an economic problem in Texas because we've got bigger and bigger government, and Kay Hutchison and Rick Perry are going to offer nothing but big government solutions. The debt in the state of Texas in 2000, when Governor Perry went into office, was $12 billion. Today, it is over $31 billion. It has nearly tripled in the last 8 years. We have a constitutional debt limit ceiling in Texas that says we cannot spend more than 5% of our total revenue to pay off our debt. We're at 4.85%. If we do not take on another dime of debt in the state of Texas, we do not get out of debt until 2047. We talk about the job situation in Texas, and we hear that we've added jobs, and that is true. From 2007, the beginning of this most recent gubernatorial term, until November of 2009, the latest job numbers that we have show we have added 142,000 jobs in Texas. We have 142,000 more people working today than we did in January of 2007. But if you study that report and you go down through that U.S. Department of Labor statistics report and you start to look at the segments of the economy where those jobs are, because I don't know about you, but I know people that have been laid off or they've been cut from 40 hours to 36 or 32, and we've got all these jobs. Where are they? You scroll down through that report, the first sector is construction. What have construction jobs done since 2007? What have IT jobs done since 2007? And as you scroll down through there, you see every curve looks like that. And you wonder, well, where are those 142,000 new jobs? You get to the bottom of the report and you see the government sector, and it looks like that. We've added 156,000 jobs in Texas in the government sector. You've only added 142 total. What that means is we've lost 14,000 private sector jobs. 14,000 fewer private sector people are supporting 156,000 more public sector employees. You can't stand under that weight. None of us can stand under that weight. And we will quit working, and we will not have dreams if we do not reverse that trend. And the governor stands on that stage and he says, I've cut spending. I've asked all of the departments in Texas to cut spending by 5%, when in his own department in the first quarter of this fiscal year, it's up 13.5%. There's no excuse for that. We're either going to start electing people that walk their talk, or we're going to keep getting more of what we've been getting. I'm in this fight to fight the good fight, to fight hard, and I'm going to continue to fight hard every day from now until March 2nd. God forbid I have to keep fighting until April, which is better than not, But I absolutely believe we can win this race. There is an enthusiasm for these ideas, and I've said time and again, this is not my message. I'm a vessel of a message that has been carried to man for years. It is the message that kids died in Tiananmen Square for. It is the message that our founders staked their life and their fortune and their sacred honor for. It is the message that St. Augustine wrote about, and it is a message that a man died on a cross for. We are created to be free. We are not created to live under the burden and tyranny of big government. And we have the same big government ideologies that place here in Texas as we do in Washington, D.C. We will not fix this overnight. And I'm not up here advocating anarchy, and I'm not up here advocating this, rose-colored picture that everything is going to be rosy when Deborah Medina becomes governor. I'm not running for monarch. We've got to be having this conversation with state reps and state senators. But study the issue. Look at what that property tax burden does and understand, even if you don't cut spending, and we've got to cut spending, and we've got to look at where we're allocating our state resources. Anybody in here think the number one priority of the state of Texas is to deliver health care? That's where we're spending the biggest chunk of Texas dollars. The number one expenditure for the state of Texas is on health care, because we have government that doesn't understand it has no business in health care, not just in Washington, but right here in Texas. We have to have people that will fight that fight. Anybody in here buying group health insurance? Premiums been going up lately, have they? I looked at that. Because I do medical billing for a living. I'm a registered nurse. I've been in healthcare. I maintain an active nursing license. I review medical records and I do billing.